Hi, I'm Brian Nash from How We Got Here Genealogy, and welcome to Let's Talk About Scottish Genealogy. Tonight we're talking about the 1921 Scottish Census. It just became available today on Scotland's People. Scotland's People is the official website of the National Records Service of the National Records of Scotland. It's a great site. It's where you find all your information about your Scottish ancestors. Anyways, today the 1921 census was released, and now this basically has provided uh, several hundred thousands of pages of or entries, and this is new information. It's the first time it's been released. Uh, so the original date for the census was supposed to be April 24th. Um, but due to some unrest, due to some industrial issues at the time, it was postponed until Sunday, June 19th. So, uh, I said, let's talk about the Scottish Census of 1921. Um, just if you have any questions, you just feel free to ask them in the chat, and um, I'll be watching for them. And so, why was this 1921 Scottish Census really important? Well, like all censuses, the Scottish Census is basically like all census. I hate that word census. It doesn't pluralize well. Um, like all census that are done by countries, it's a snapshot of time in the life of that country. Or if it was done as a community, it's that picture of what it was at that exact moment. And so we're looking at June 19th, 1921. There's a couple of really interesting things. So this is the first Scottish census that had information about dependent children, about people's workplace, and about orphans. So this is a lot of new information that wasn't there. They made some changes to some of the questions. They no longer asked about disability, or I believe they changed it. They asked if you were eligible or receiving national benefits. But two other things that really make it important is it was the first census after World War One, and it was immediately, or really still in the middle of the Spanish influenza pandemic that was hitting Europe and the whole world. And so both these events had an impact on population. It was early in the 1920s when there was a little bit of that boom in some places in the world from that post-war boom, but it was still in Scotland. There was not it wasn't a time of great economic progress, and the census does show this. So, as a family historian, it gives us a great deal of information about the people living on that time. It also records some interesting points in history compared to the previous census. For instance, there was changes in the laws that now saw that women could compete in previously male-only professions, such as working for the civil service or as a doctor or a lawyer. So this information will appear in the census. Also, an interesting side thing is because of when the census was taken. In the census, what they do is they record exactly who was at a household that night. This includes every place, a house, dormitories, military barracks, hotels. So at this time, the St. Andrew's Open, the Scottish Open, I believe it's called now, it was about to take place. It was the week leading up, the weekend leading up to the event. So there was lots of golfers from around the world that were present in St. Andrews. Along with them, there was their respective entourages, the media, and also just golfing fans. So the hotels in St. Andrews were overflowing with these people, and they would actually be recorded in the census, even though they're not um, members or not citizens of Scotland necessarily, but because they're in that spot at that night, and the census is taking that picture, that's where they will record, would be recorded. And like I said, this is also going to show that about the economic prosperity. There was still, and the living conditions. There was still many people that were living in poorhouses, and it will also show that there was a high level of unemployment, where it's recording people's places of work. And in fact, like I said at the beginning, due to the labor unrest, the census had to be postponed until the original date. From the original date of April until now, or June 19th of 1921. So it's not quite 100 years ago yet. It's coming up to it in it's just over 100 years ago. But this information is superbly compiled for us to have. Now, one of the things, if you're right now, the only place you can get the records is on Scotland's People. Scotland's People is a site. I'm just going to demonstrate it here quickly to give you an idea of what the site is and what it looks like and where you'd be going. So for you who don't know, if you go to Scotland's People, like I said, it's run by the National Records for Scotland, and it lets you have all kinds of information. Today, we're going to specifically look for the census. It comes up because it's the latest thing right there on the air. You can click and it will give you you can choose census returns. Like I said, it is the only source you're going to find this information right now. So as of today, it's the only place, and it is a paid service. It's free to search, but if you want to look at the actual records, there is a cost. How it works on a credit system. There's different tiers, but it's the same cost. There's no discounted pricing if you buy a larger number of credits. So the lowest amount is £7.50, which I just checked. If it was today and I was to purchase that, that's $12.14 Canadian. And for that, you get 30 credits. Each record costs 6 credits. So for the $12 and a bit of change, and it depends when you purchase them, you can get 5 records, which is actually fairly reasonable considering some other government sites that do charge the amounts they charge. But it does let you search for things. So when you're looking at the census, it gives you the information of which ones you're looking at. Just the normal stuff. You can search by name. If you know another person on the census page. So this might be helpful to make sure you're getting the right Donald McDonald. If you knew that this was your grandfather or great grandfather, and their neighbor was Roger McCaskill, say, you could put Roger McCaskill in there as another person that would be on the same sheet. You could put in a person that would be another person if they knew in their household. If you had possibly his mother-in-law was living with him, so that can just help narrow it down. You put your census, your age range, it's 0 to 120, and you can put your county, city, and then go ahead and search. So we're going to do this. We're going to do one, and I'm sure that just by using this name, we'll find lots. So Uh, so I'm going to choose Donald McDonald. Um, I've known quite a few Donald McDonalds in my life. So let's say we're looking for a Donald McDonald. He's between 50 and 65. This is your grandfather, great grandfather, and you you want or great grandfather, I guess, based on this age, for most people would be. Um, so what range, what age was he then? You can figure it out if you have a rough idea when he was born. This could also help you with that information, getting it. So let's go to county or city. I'm just going to keep this just to the Glasgow city, and it will give me different districts that I can search. But I don't know Glasgow. You don't know it, but you know I know he lived there. So I can leave it at that. If you do know the district, you can definitely narrow it down. So when I'm going to search for Glasgow for Donald McDonald, and you'll see there's 13 pages of results. Um, so this with it being a paid site, you want to be very careful that you're choosing the right one you want to look at. That's why it's helpful to have that other information. So let's say I know that his wife. So Donald was male. I'm going to say that his wife is, let's say, Elizabeth McDonald. And this is just to help narrow it down. I can update my results. So I'm not finding anybody that has Elizabeth. So let's try Mary McDonald, uh, and we'll update the results. Still not that. So maybe I'm looking at you know, the wrong person. Maybe Donald, because I know he had a wife, Mary. Maybe they weren't at the same place for whatever particular reason at night. This is something that could actually be helpful to you. If Donald was a salesman, you might not find him where you expect him to be. So we're going to just search for simply Mary, and let's see what it comes up with. So there we go. There's all the Donalds with the forename, I guess. So it is Mary McDonald it's looking for. It gives us all kinds of people, it has their addresses, but we've narrowed it down. There's now only 7 people as opposed to 13 pages that we had before. So this is a great way to save yourself money. Like I said, for $6, you get to see the entire page or record of that. The good thing is it does save your records, so you can print them off. It'll save it on the site. I've been using the site for a few years now, and from the first record I ever paid for until now, it's all still saved there. So let's do that again because I realized this screen was not on when I was doing this. I apologize for all you guys watching. So let's go back, and this will make a little more sense now as I go back here, and we'll go back to the main page. When you click on it, uh, just 1 second here. This is doing a backwards picture for some reason. Um, let me see if I can fix this. I apologize. This is not what I was expecting. It should show like this. When I've done this before, it has shown right, so I'm not positive why it's doing that. Let me see here. It might be a setting on here. There we go. That's setting in my streaming program. So this is this is live. This is where faux pas happen. So here's the website. Like I said, you click on here, or you can click up at the top. When you're looking for records, you could search our records, and you get these same options. So I'm searching for specifically for the 1921. So I was looking for Donald. Sorry, I was looking for MacDonald, and I was looking for the first name Donald. And like I said, I was looking for an age range between 50 and 60. I said 65, I think, originally. Let's just try to narrow it down. And I was going to just search for the city of Glasgow City. And Donald is a male. So when I first searched for him, we are getting 7 results. Okay, this time we only got 7. Let's see. I must have, I said, that had him at a higher age. So interesting. So there we go. There we have 13 results, which is what I had originally. So we're going to go and we're going to try and narrow it down and see if we can find the right one. We know that we have Mary, who lives with him, Mary McDonald. So let's search. So it's brought it down to these households, and I might be able to narrow it down if by looking at their age, or if I happen to know the road that they lived on. Now, this one here, it looks like it's 2 different Donalds, but they're on the same road. So this is where you could come in some difficulty, but it's for the 6 credits, it's just over just like I said, it's about $12. You get 5, so you're looking just over $2 a page, a record. So not a terribly expensive venture, but every penny saved is a penny earned. So you can, if you know it, you can narrow it down. You could take a look, but like I said, each one does cost. So right now, there's no other sources of this. You only have Scotland's people. But it's an easy site. It does let you search if you have more detailed information. If you know the exact age, or approximate age, because remember, when you do this, you have to first of all assume that it was reported properly, because censuses are known for their errors, especially when they're not asking the person themselves. They're asking somebody else who is, sometimes it could be a neighbor. In the case of a hotel, it could be the manager at hotel. There's all kinds of reasons why they might not have the right age. It's probably, if you know that's where the family is, and you look and you see other people, that's the other way you can do it, is try to find other people that are on the same sheets or in the same neighborhoods. This gives you sort of the record of what it is. So if you knew that you're looking for somebody, but you didn't know the street, you could, but like I said at the beginning, their name, they had a neighbor, you could look for that neighbor as well and try to find and match up the references, which would be the specific records. So that's it. I'm just going to wrap up right now unless there's any questions. Okay, well, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. See you next time. And check out this video up here that will be appearing on the repeat.